Hello again, word lovers, and in this installment I'm going to look at some words which are made from initial letters, known as acronyms, not to be confused with initialisms, such as F.B.I, C.I.A, that don't make words. AIDS is an acronym, AIDS, while H.I.V is an initialism. URL could be an initialism, or if you pronounce it Earl or Yearl, it's an acronym. So here are some acronyms. A quite famous one is the word laser, which stands for light amplification by stimulated emission of radiation. This in turn was a copy of maser, microwave amplification by stimulated emission of radiation. So laser was a copier of maser and has also spawned a modern copy in taser, which is also an acronym, Thomas A. Swift Electric Rifle, but not the name of its inventor, Mr. Jack Cover. No, Thomas A. Swift was the star of some science fiction adventure novels, but it's very likely to have been modelled on laser, which was a common word already. Self-contained underwater breathing apparatus is a mouthful. Much easier to use the acronym SCUBA. Radio detecting and ranging, radar. The next one's not so obvious. General purpose vehicle. What could that be? If you say it as an initialism, GPV, and shorten it, you get Jeep. People in America use Zone Improvement Plan codes, otherwise known as zip codes. And these days, we know what a graphics interchange format, or GIF, is. Some of the older acronyms spring from a kind of newspaper language, such as a yuppie, common in the 80s, the young, upwardly mobile professional, which spawned a lot of words, similar words. Campaigners who objected to things being close to their houses were known as NIMBYs, which was not in my backyard, which also had a lot of variants. The smart car is smart, as in intelligent, but the name was an acronym of Swatch Mercedes Art, simply because it's the same company that makes the Swatch watches. And now that we're abroad, let's go for some foreign acronyms that we're quite familiar with. Maybe you've seen or used an Aktia Bolaget Gas Accumulator, the AGA, the AGA, and history certainly reminds us of the secret state police of Germany, the Geheime Staatspolizei, which is the Gestapo. Meanwhile, in Russia, the Glavnaya Upravlenia Ispravительно Trudovich Lagerei were more simply known as, I'll give you another chance, Glavnaya Upravlenia Ispravительно Trudovich Lagerei were the Gulag. And from the Second World War, expressions such as Janfu and Snafu were quite common. Janfu meaning a joint army-navy fuck-up, and a snafu would be situation normal, all chaotic. And in your smartphones these days, you'll have a SIM card. That's your subscriber identification module card. And to check you're a real person and not a computer, you might be asked to do a captcha on your computer screen, CAPTCHA, which of course is a capture. It's a screen capture, that's what it means. But in this case, it's a completely automated public Turing test to tell computers and humans apart. And to end with 3 annoyances and 3 acronyms as place names. So PIN instead of personal identification number. Great, but why put the number back then and say PIN number? The same thing happens with automatic telling machine, of course. If people say they're going to the ATM machine, and the worst culprit is ABS braking systems, where you're effectively saying advanced braking system. And finally, 3 places named by acronym. I live in Zaragoza, and just across the river from me, the 60s built zone is known as the Actur. I'm quite confident to say that 90% of the people who live there don't know that this means actuaciones urbanísticas urgentes, urgent urban action. While during apartheid South Africa, many of the regions came to world knowledge, one of them was the southwestern townships, which, when they called it Soweto, I didn't know what it meant, but that is what it means. And finally, a whole country made of an acronym. What would you call the unification of Punjab, Afghania, Kashmir, Sindh, and Baluchistan?